basically, then I sent them some different I sent them a few sort of wacky sounding, like over the top kind of creative or religious sort of sounding emails. But I remember exactly my frame of mind when I sent them. And if you talk to me at the time that I sent them, I would come across the same way that I'm coming across to you right now. Right now, I probably come across as like halfway. My writing style is very creative. I'm a poetic person, and I don't think that when I'm trying to express my emotions or feelings that it is always conveyed the same way that it would be conveyed as if I were talking to somebody or trying to express myself verbally. So that's just pretty much how I've been my entire life. And I was also kind of going off at that point, because let me look at what the date is on this, because after being harassed for so long and having the FBI act like children towards me, I mean, assaulting me, raping me, cutting me out of college, doing horrible things to me, saying I'm not, making me look like I'm a hooker and a prostitute, all just terrible things, putting me in jail on false arrest. I mean, after and then having migraines triggered against me to torture me incessantly and refusing painkillers. When all of those things were being done, they were trying to provoke me. They were trying to get a reaction. And let me see when this one was. Okay, for example, something that I sent September 20th of 2005. It just sounds really, I write something like, when I've read too many lips to know, and lying to me when I've read too many lips to know. Stuff like that is just figurative speech. I was used to writing it all the time in my classes, and I just wrongly incorporated it into things to the FBI. But hallelujah, let the people rejoice, one less application to read. But if I still pursue investigation, I think investigation of the FBI would be interesting. And I think I was just sort of then mocking them. I wasn't trying to be some kind of crazy, like, hallelujah person. That's not as... I was basically saying one less... hallelujah, that people rejoice, one less application to read. That's their mentality, and that's where they were coming from. And I was expressing that in a creative idea, but it sounds wacky. And yet, this is September 20th, 2005. That's about 1 year after I spoke with the SSAs from the FBI headquarters. And in that 1 year time, they ruined my life. They completely destroyed everything about my life. And then they set me up to be tortured, and then later have my son kidnapped. But they were not just ignoring me, they were maliciously insulting me and telling police, and they were harming me. They were telling police to do things to me, to harass me. I was stalked. I was being assaulted with migraine after migraine. I was being denied painkillers. Basically, I was being tortured to the point that I finally did have a suicide attempt. First time and only time in my life. And so when I suddenly come up with some kind of a creative outlet and an expression of saying some things, if it sounds strange, how about what's strange is that these employees of the federal government are rapists and organized criminals and have tortured my family in a quote-unquote free country. So when we start looking at whose responses and reactions are the craziest, I think that the FBI and federal individuals can take the cake. And And basically, that's what they sent me some things of, is some of my emails to different people, and my attempts to get a response, which wasn't the best way to go about it at that time, but all of these emails that sound a little more out there, all of them were sent a year later. Like a year and a half after I was assaulted. And 1 year after I was interviewed by the FBI SSAs. So and it wasn't just it was not just the Portland FBI that was insulting me and you know, referring to me as Mr. Garrett instead of Ms. Garrett when they already knew who I was. I have one right here that I just looked at. It was from Knoxville, Tennessee, addressing me as Mr. Garrett. And then they went ahead and assaulted me when I was in Tennessee, in Knoxville, and they used me for research and experimentation against my will until I brought up the Geneva Convention and how I was degrading treatment in violation of such. So basically I've been in my right mind all this time. For 7 years I've been able to think and able to work, able to go to college, able to do a lot of things with my life, and obstructed and called crazy, kept from having any kind of means. Anything that I had that was a video camera was stolen by police. Anything I had that I could have used to document that they were lying about me was taken away from me. They used false arrest and pulling my car over to steal my property. They ruined my communications, my telecommunications, my computer communications, and other things. They left me, you know, kept me out of housing. And they did all of these things knowing that as a child I had already been assaulted through the MK Ultra program, and that they were going to continue doing whatever they wanted to do with me and my parents, my brother, and next my son. So the rest of this that I'm sort of looking through, I might go through again at a later date and then add some comments to if something sparks my memory. But this is another thing that's kind of weird. I don't really remember what this is about, but it was sent October 18th of 2005. A friend who was trying to fix my home computer last night was there when I opened it. A form from, I believe, Mr. Jarrett Sharp. And he noticed the address and said JAG, and told me the Air Force sent it to me. This was completely confusing, as I wondered what pilots have to do with the FBI. But he said it was a legal division, Judge Advocate General. I still don't know what that has to do with the FBI. Anyway, it's just been a big Department of Defense, CIA, FBI, mafia. I mean, I don't know of any mafia that's that bad. I cannot think of any mafia that has done as bad of things as the United States government has done to me and my family. To my son, a child. I mean, as far as I know, mafia go around primarily killing man to man on certain things here and there for whatever reason. And typically they say that they get started because the police or the regular system is so corrupt they can't get any assistance from him. And all I can say is I believe that certain groups of mafia, certain preferred groups, have been involved in torturing and abusing me and my family. But they've been encouraged and allowed to do so by the United States government. And that really makes the United States government, considering the kind of torture and the sort of weapons that they've used against my family, that makes them 10 times worse than the worst mafia we have in the entire country. They've done some horrible, 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 unforgivable, horrible things.